Hey everyone, happy Monday off the Real Sports with Bert Beiswanger. I hope you had a great weekend. Had a good weekend, not too bad. Winter storm blasting through the upper Midwest, west down into the Midwest, right over Indianapolis. Arctic cold, 6 inches of snow, and at least here in Fishers, Indiana. But we're going to plow through it and go into the week, and it's going to get warmer and warmer. What's not getting warmer is the cold season. Um, Listen, it was desperate times called for desperate measures with 44-year-old Philip Rivers coming out of retirement on 3 days of practice and starting for the Colts. And I got to tell you, that game, as ugly as it was, um, I found myself I went into yesterday and saying to myself, this is a one game season right here. All right, this is just a one game season. I'm looking at this thing in a bubble, in a vacuum. Uh, should the Colts pull off a miraculous win at one of the best teams and defenses in the NFL, Seattle Seahawks, we'll just take it one game at a time after that. I did not expect to win, but I will tell you, I had as much fun and excitement at the end of that game and writing on that game as I can remember in a long time, as weird as that sounds. If the Colts had pulled that off with a 44-year-old quarterback, granted, I think completed two passes in the second half, did nothing much at all. But they pulled that off, and then you have your third kicker you've gone to this year, kicking a 60-yarder to potentially win the game. That would have felt like a playoff win. And I honestly, sincerely would have said, I don't care what happens the rest of the season. It was about yesterday. Tough way to lose for the Colts. Rivers, the offense is the playbook's cut in half based on what he can do with his arm strength or lack thereof. Um, but you saw his ability to his brain hasn't slowed down. Physicality, yes. Arm strength, everything, of course. But the brain hasn't slowed down. He made some quick reads, right calls on some plays. Again, it was a limited playbook, but I was impressed with the whole team effort. Quite honestly, the offensive line stepped back up. I thought Jonathan Taylor had one of his best games of the season, and by that I mean he only had 87 yards rushing, but on 25 carries, but it was a workhorse job and effort. The Seahawks knew what the Colts were going to do, and he kept trying to grind out yards. Would have liked to seen a couple plays. There were a couple of miscues here and there that look, the way that game was going yesterday, I really just wanted one big play if we could find it, and they almost found it with a quick read pass to wide open Josh Downs. He beat his man. Rivers picked up on it real quick because he went left real quick, seeing the coverage. Downs beats his man, and he's not looking up for the ball. I mean, you beat your man, you got to look up for the ball immediately. And I know there's a timing deal there that hasn't been worked out with these two and what have you. But if Downs looks up, he catches the ball, and it's a big 30-yard gain or whatever. That would have been awesome. These are the silver linings that you're looking for while the game was going on. That was a third quarter play. Fourth quarter, I will say the Colts were driving. They were driving for what they had done in the second half. I think they completed a pass, so they had a little something going. First down, and then the next snap goes right over. Well, it almost goes over Philip Rivers' head, hits him in the hands, straight up in the air. He catches it. Second and 15. Second and 15 may as well have been third and 35. That's what it felt like. It was it was just that kind of day. And then the end of the game there, right before the Colts kicked their 60-yarder to take the lead and potentially win it. That you're looking at the clock at the timeouts, and that's just if they could have just got one more first down on that drive, the game's over. Probably. Again, uh, pending the upcoming field goal, and I assume the Colts would have made it. But Groupie, hey, he had a 50. Did he have 57 yarder before that? Groupie stepped up. I'm a groupie. I'm a groupie. He had a big day of kicking. He just didn't have as good a one as the 6 field goals that the Seahawks hit and kicked through, and a 57-yarder did him in. But look, this game yesterday was always a vacuum game for me. I never looked at it like, oh my gosh, this see what we got the rest of the season. I don't I don't know what else they can do with Philip Rivers at this point. Um, just with the physical limitations, I don't know what else the Colts can do at this point. They're down, guys. They're down. They're all their corners again. Um, and they lost Ryman left tackle. They already didn't have Braden Smith the right tackle. That's a recipe for disaster, no matter who the quarterback is. A savvy yet immobile veteran or a young, mobile quarterback who isn't, quote, as savvy, but nonetheless, the protection would be there for. So I don't know what they do. Not got to get any better. They got San Francisco coming up at home, and then they've got what do they have after that? They got the Jags at home, and then I think they end with the Texans at Houston. But season pretty much over. I've said since Jones got hurt, it is unfortunate that Richardson was not available because I think as a backup, I think there's a lot of teams that could do worse than Anthony Richardson as the backup, and I think he could have come in that Jacksonville game, gone into yesterday's game. Listen, the guy's inconsistent. There's no doubt about it, but he's also capable of making very good plays. But we've been through this. The injury, unfortunate. It's just kind of so Anthony Richardson to be out entirely for a year based on an exercise accident. But it is what it is. I saw that he has been cleared, so medically, but now that's everyone's gonna see that and think, oh, you just plug him right in. He hasn't practiced for 2 months. So you can go to meeting rooms and all that, but physically he hasn't played. So we're going backwards again. So he had an entire off season this past year, unlike the previous year. But now it's almost like you almost need another, I don't know, not another entire off season, but you need something. So I don't know physically, medically he's been cleared. I don't know that they'll play him. I honestly don't know. Like I have nothing against what they did yesterday. I was all in. I enjoyed the game. I was looking forward to celebrating a win there at the end. But now, you're I mean, you're not mathematically eliminated, but I think at some point you either do have to say, okay, we got to put Riley Leonard in, see if we got something here as a future backup, or if Richardson healthy, play him. I think it would be a tough position for him to come in, but it's going to be tough for everybody. So um, I would take if AR was healthy, I'd take him right now. I don't think he's going to play this week, but he just got cleared, and again, they have not made any statement, so we'll see where it is. But all right, hey, I should have led with this, but Fernando Mendoza, Indiana, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, just another notch in what is just a magical season for Indiana football. We never saw this coming, did we? Never. Not 2 years ago. Not 10 years ago. Not 20 years ago. Not 30 years ago. Never saw this coming. But number one team in the country, Heisman Trophy winning player Fernando Mendoza. I thought he'd win it. I don't know. I don't think it's a great. Uh, well, it's not a great quarterback group per se. I mean, Julian Sayin. I didn't see the final voting. I'm sorry. Julian Sayin was there, and Pavia was there. Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt. Um, and it just doesn't always go to a quarterback, but it seems to default to a quarterback. And Mendoza, what he did with that completion of the Penn State game, that comeback there, and then beating Ohio State, I just thought it was a fait accompli that he was going to win it. So crazy that we have a Indiana Hoosier Heisman Trophy winner, but hey, they're also the number one team in the country, and the craziness just keeps rolling on. And I like their chances. I really do. I think the field gets thinned out pretty quickly. Quite honestly, I really do. I mean, you've got Ole Miss is the best team, if not one of the best. Well, they are one of the best teams in the SEC, and they are without their coach. I don't know the status of Moss, the running back for A&M. They're a totally different team with him, than they are without him. He hasn't played for a while, so we'll see what happens there. You've got two mid majors in the field, so that waters it down. And I'm not talking like 13-0 Boise State mid majors. I'm talking just two very average mid majors. So that, again, beating a dead horse here, but seeing these teams in and not Notre Dame just makes me puke. It's just Jeremiah Love, by the way, he was the fourth person at the Heisman ceremony. I think he's the best player in the country. So, should he win the Heisman? I don't know. I just know that I think Jeremiah Love is the best player in the country. Fernando Mendoza will get drafted obviously higher because he's a quarterback, but Love at Notre Dame, one of the best offenses in the country. I like this team a lot more than I did last year's team, quite honestly. So, but they're not in it. So my point is, and then of course with the mid majors in, you don't have teams like Texas and Vanderbilt. So the depth just gets worn out real quick, in my personal opinion. Um, and when Indiana being the number one seed, good path. Uh, so they're not going to have to play. They're not going to have to play like the likes of Ohio State, for a while until it would be like the final game. And so we'll see what happens there. Looking forward to the playoffs starting. We're still a few weeks away from that, but we're getting there. Bowl season starts. It's I don't know. I'll watch some of these games, but I'll look for other things like basketball, hockey. The bowl season is just we need to redo this, and there sure as heck is way too many bowl games. So um, yeah, sad, but it's not what it used to be, and nothing is, including just the landscape of college football. By the way, DJ Lagway, Florida's quarterback, went into the season with all this hype and coming off off-season shoulder surgery, had a calf injury, just didn't sat out spring practice, summer practice, or summer camps, whatever. So he didn't have much going into the season, and I don't know if that affected things because he was 6-1 as a sophomore, came in this year and um, was just not the same, and it snowballed from there. So, but Lagway is a 5-star recruit out of Texas, a heck of a talent. I didn't. Even with the coaching change at Florida, I'm not sure that anyone expected Lagway to leave, but he did, and so he'll be the biggest name. If he'll be one of the biggest names, if not the most prized recruit in the portal. So look for that. Uh, you know, I would be a little surprised, but not totally surprised if he ended up somewhere like Indiana. Why not? The formula's there. The stability is there. I think he could end up somewhere like LSU. Maybe he ends up somewhere back in Texas. I don't know, but this is just the beginning. You're gonna have the portal window does this like 15 days down the road, but you can enter. You're just gonna have this news cycles from coaching searches to players opting into the portal to the playoffs still going on while all this is happening. All the off-season stuff's going on during the in-season stuff. It's just insane. Wild West college sports across the board. It's not just football. It's all college sports. All right, hey, listen, everyone, have a good day. Get a leg up on the week. It's Monday. Get a leg up no matter what you do. We will talk soon. Have a good day.